Shooting rampage, the gunman opening fire at a food festival, families running for cover. 3 people killed, among them a 6-year-old boy whose family tonight says he was a happy, loving boy. What we've just learned about the 19-year-old gunman armed with an assault-style rifle. His social media posts, including what authorities now describe as white supremacist messaging. President Trump tonight defending himself against allegations of racism after attacking Congressman Elijah Cummings and calling a Baltimore district a, quote, disgusting rat and rodent-infested mess, saying no human being could want to live there. What's behind this? Republican reaction just in. The homeowner shot multiple times, and what the body cam now shows, the deputy shooting through the window, and what the sheriff's office originally said. 2 American teens linked to the murder of a police officer in Rome. 1 teen now claiming self-defense. What we've learned from Italy tonight. North of the border this evening, 1 town on lockdown. Families told to stay indoors in the hunt for 2 teens wanted after an alleged killing spree that included that American woman and her boyfriend. Tonight, the new shark attack just reported after 2 attacks already on the East Coast. The building collapsed today, the top floor giving way. Several workers rescued on stretchers. Several of them rushed to the hospital. And the missile launcher discovered by the TSA at an American airport.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to start another week with all of you at home. And we do begin tonight with new reporting after that deadly shooting rampage terrified families running for cover at a food festival in Northern California. A band on stage when the shooting started, panicked people trying to seek cover, hiding wherever they could. More than a dozen people were injured, and when it was over, 3 people were killed, including this little boy, 6-year-old Steven Romero. The 19-year-old gunman was armed with an assault-style rifle. He cut through a fence to get past security and metal detectors. Tonight, police are now looking at his social media posts, some of them including what authorities describe as white supremacist messaging. ABC's Will Carr leads us off tonight from Gilroy, California.
In a split second, a festival packed with families turned into a terrifying nightmare. Families running for their lives, with shots flying through the air, many at first believing those pops were fireworks exploding, but then realizing they were under attack.
Oh, they shooting.
Victims rushed to safety.
She got shot.
Some of those shot thrown into the back of pickup trucks. Authorities say the gunman, 19-year-old Santino William Lagon, wearing camo, evaded tight security checkpoints and metal detectors by cutting through a fence, sneaking onto the festival grounds, then unloading on attendees with an assault-style rifle. Investigators believe the suspect purchased that gun legally just 3 weeks ago.
And all of a sudden these shots rang out, about 20 of them. Immediately it was like an automatic rifle. 8 or 10 after that.
The shooting left more than a dozen injured and 3 victims dead, including 6-year-old Steven Romero. Tonight, his family in mourning.
A really happy boy, a really loving boy.
Also killed 25-year-old Trevor Irby and 13-year-old Kayla Salazar. According to police, first responders exchanged gunfire with the suspect less than 60 seconds after he fired his first shot, ultimately shooting and killing him.
Despite the fact that they were outgunned with their handguns against a rifle, those 3 officers were able to fatally wound that suspect.
Heavily armed officers then combed the area for a potential second suspect. And today, officers also searched this home once linked to the shooter. Authorities are parked outside of the suspect's father's house right now. On the inside, the ATF is trying to zero in on the motive. Tonight, authorities say the suspect's family is cooperating. Meanwhile, authorities tell ABC News they're looking into white supremacist messaging the shooter posted on his Instagram page and a post criticizing the festival minutes before he opened fire.
So let's get to Will Carr with us live tonight from the scene. I know, Will, authorities are still there on the festival grounds. They're also, as you reported, looking closely at the gunman's social media posts. And now the weapon they believe was purchased legally just weeks ago?
David, investigators believe the suspect bought that gun in Nevada on July 9th. They're now trying to figure out if it was illegal to bring the gun here to California. At the same time, at least a half-dozen victims remain in the hospital tonight. David.
Will Carr leading us off tonight from California. Will, thank you. And now to President Trump tonight, defending himself against allegations of racism after a torrent of tweets criticizing Congressman Elijah Cummings and his Baltimore district, describing it as a rat and rodent-infested mess. The president says Cummings is the racist. ABC's Kira Phillips at the White House.
Maryland's Republican governor denouncing President Trump for smearing a Baltimore congressional district as a, quote, disgusting rat and rodent-infested mess, saying no human being would want to live there.
The comments are just outrageous and inappropriate.
The president's comments were aimed at Congressman Elijah Cummings after the veteran lawmaker took the head of the Department of Homeland Security to task over conditions in migrant detention centers.
What does that mean when a child is sitting in their own feces, can't take a shower? Come on, man. What's that about?
Cummings is the fifth congressperson of color that the president has targeted this month alone. In one racist tweet, he suggested 4 congresswomen go back to the countries they came from, even though all of them are citizens and 3 were born in the United States. He's also used the phrase crime-infested to describe the congressional district of civil rights icon John Lewis. Acting Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney grilled by Chris Wallace of Fox News.
Infested. It sounds like vermin. It sounds subhuman. And these are all 6 members of Congress who are people of color.
I think you're spending way too much time reading between the lines.
I'm not reading between the lines. I'm reading the lines.
The president doubling down today as part of a strategy to energize his base of white rural voters before the election. He's taking aim at a new target, the Reverend Al Sharpton. The 2 men have been friendly before. But when Sharpton tweeted he was heading to Baltimore, the president blasted him as a con man who hates whites and cops.
He has a particular venom for blacks and people of color. He doesn't refer to any of his other opponents or critics as infested. He never said that their districts or their states are places that no human being wants to live.
And Kira Phillips with us live from the White House tonight. And Kira, President Trump insists his attacks on Congressman Cummings are not racist. What's the congressman saying about this tonight?
Well, David, Congressman Cummings tweeting, Mr. President, I go home to my district daily. Each morning I wake up and I go and fight for my neighbors. His hometown paper, David, less diplomatic. The Baltimore Sun writing, quote, better to have a few rats than to be one. David?
Kira, thank you. We turn next to the body camera, appearing to tell a different story tonight. A sheriff's deputy responding to an alarm at a home, shooting the homeowner multiple times. The sheriff's report had said that the homeowner had opened the front door, pointed a gun at the deputy. But tonight, what the body cam shows, and here's Lindsay Davis.
Oh my God, call the cops, please. I am the cops.
A dramatic scene caught on a deputy's body camera as this South Carolina homeowner pleads for help after being shot by the deputy.
You doing, man? You pointed a gun at me, man! You were in my house!
The officer arrived at the Greenville County home after receiving a call of a panic alarm. In an initial report, the sheriff's office said the homeowner opened the door and pointed a gun at him. But that's not what we see. There's motion inside the house. The deputy then fires.
Get the ambulance here, man. I'm gonna die. They're coming.
The deputy then provides medical assistance to the victim until the EMS arrived. The homeowner has since been released from the hospital and is now recovering.
You came to my house at 12 o'clock at night. I'm sleeping. I got to protect my house.
And David, that sheriff's deputy is now on paid administrative leave as multiple investigations are now underway to determine if he acted lawfully. David.
Lindsay Davis tonight. Lindsay, thank you. We turn next here to Rome in the explosive case involving 2 American teens and the murder of a police officer there. Those 2 teens from San Francisco remain jailed in Italy after allegedly fatally stabbing the officer. Tonight, one teen now reportedly claiming self-defense. ABC's Ian Pannell is in Italy tonight.
Tonight, a police officer stabbed to death in Italy, allegedly by 2 American teenagers on vacation, now laid to rest. Thousands turning out to honor Mario Churchiello Rega in the same church where he married just a month ago. And tonight, new details of how the crime allegedly unfolded. Police say 18-year-old Gabe Natal Hjorth and 19-year-old Finnegan Elder from California confessed to stealing a backpack in a drug deal gone bad. When the teens allegedly demanded money and drugs for its return, the owner phoned the police.
Buonasera. Mi hanno rubato la borsa.
Someone stole my bag, he tells police. I called these guys and they asked for a money ransom. Police say this is the pair seen here running from the scene after they stole the bag. Later, near the hotel, 2 plainclothes officers arrive and identify themselves. That's when a fight broke out and Elder allegedly stabbed Churchiello Rega 11 times, later trying to claim it was in self-defense. Natal Hjorth seen here blindfolded after his arrest, police later calling that a mistake. Tonight, Elder's family say they'll soon head to Rome, adding their hearts go out to the family and friends of the dead officer. David, it could now take up to a year for the pair to be formally charged, the judge indicating that bail unlikely to be approved because the pair considered a flight risk, adding that she said that the Americans had shown an absence of self-control and were highly dangerous. David?
Ian Pannell with us tonight as well. Ian, thank you. Next to the manhunt north of the border tonight, 2 teens wanted for an alleged killing spree, including that American woman and her boyfriend. Tonight, a town is on lockdown after reports the teens might have been spotted. Here's ABC's Clayton Sandell.
Tonight, a warning to stay inside and lock the door in yet another remote Canadian town. As police and even the Canadian Air Force step up a week-long search for 2 teens wanted for murder.
2 males matching the description of the wanted suspects were seen in York Landing, Manitoba.
If it is 19-year-old Cam McLeod and 18-year-old Briar Schmigelski, it would be the first confirmed sighting in days. The fugitive teens caught on camera at a store last week in Saskatchewan province.
Our officers on the ground have not made contact with the individuals, and so we are not yet in a position to confirm that these are the wanted suspects.
The pair have already been charged with the murder of college professor Leonard Dick and are wanted for killing American China Deese and her Australian boyfriend Lucas Fowler.
There are reports the pair was stopped last week at a routine checkpoint, but the constables apparently didn't know the teens were wanted and the car they were in had not been reported stolen, so they were let go. David?
Major questions about that. All right, Clayton, thank you. Late today, we learned of yet another shark attack off the East Coast after 2 already over the weekend. It happened off Florida, but there remains concern tonight all the way up to Massachusetts. Here's ABC's Victor Oquendo.
For the second time in as many days, a shark attack in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. Lifeguards say an 18-year-old surfer was bitten on the hand Monday afternoon, marking the 6th bite this year in Volusia County, known as the shark attack capital of the world and living up to its name. 49-year-old William Angel bitten in the thigh while boogie boarding there Saturday. He was treated on scene. The danger lurking along Florida's coast. Just an hour earlier, about 100 miles away on Jacksonville Beach, Surfline.com capturing the moment 23-year-old surfer Frank O'Rourke struggled to stay above water as what was believed to be a black-tipped shark latched onto his arm. O'Rourke later seen bolting across the beach for help, still clutching his board.
You have all the teeth, the rows of teeth. It kind of just clamped onto my arm.
David, according to National Geographic, it's estimated anyone who has swam in New Smyrna Beach has been within 10 feet of a shark. Thankfully, all 3 recent victims are expected to be okay. David?
All right, Victor Oquendo tonight. Thank you. On the Hill tonight, a new congressional report just out raising serious questions about the White House, some of the president's friends and one-time associates, and possible conflicts. Were profits more important than national security? That's the question being posed by this new congressional report, and here's ABC's Mary Bruce tonight.
Tonight, a new congressional report is raising serious questions about whether the White House is willing to place the potential profits of the president's friends above the national security of the American people. The report zeroes in on a number of Trump's close associates, including his longtime friend Tom Barrack, who ran Trump's inaugural committee. They say Barrack pushed the White House to sign off on a deal with Saudi Arabia to build dozens of power plants, a deal Democrats say could have benefited Barrack financially. The deal has not gone through, but Barrack was still instrumental in crafting the president's Saudi policy. In 2016, right before Trump was set to deliver this campaign speech on energy,
we'll work with our Gulf allies to develop a positive energy relationship as part of our anti-terrorism strategy.
The report says Barrack ran the speech by a business associate in the United Arab Emirates with connections to Saudi leaders, who later sent it back with edits. Trump's campaign chairman Paul Manafort emailing back that the speech has the language you want. Today's report, the work of the House Oversight Committee, led by Congressman Elijah Cummings, who the president has been attacking on Twitter.
So let's get to Mary Bruce live in Washington tonight. And Mary, the White House refused to cooperate with